Little Boosie have just released a new mixtape. It's like Boopac, which sounds like a haunting of sounds like an album that concept is the haunting of Tupac's ghost. I mean, yeah, he could have came up with a better title, but he could have came up with a better record, and I'll explain that later. Now, for all of you who may not know who Little Boosie is, allow me to explain. Little Boosie is a rapper that, of course, comes from Louisiana, however you want to pronounce it. And, he's been releasing mixtape after mixtape. He's kind of like world renowned. Well, Southern world renowned, I should say. On a South perspective, he's pretty okay. He was diagnosed with cancer, and he might have diabetes, so he's struggling out here. And of course, he came out with his latest album, and we're about to get into it, hey. But so Boosie review right ahead. All right, so here's a review of the whole album. The album starts out with Dada, which kind of sounds like the melody was taken from Return of the Mack by that 90s artist, Mack Morris. I think his name was Mack Morris. Yeah, the melody sounds like it's taken from the 90s artist Mack Morris, which didn't really sound that bad. It actually sounded pretty okay, for a starter. Then you have a track like Real Shooter, which, he talks about how he has real shooters. So this is kind of like the point where the subject matter and the title really just align. And usually the subject matter and the title usually align, but this is like a basic like from mouth to hand aligning to the subject matter, like a hand-fisted way of making a song. Now, the repetitive chorus kind of sounds like it's very childish, especially when he starts the whole thing where he says, "I'm gonna make you do your homework." Yeah, it just blows on the full-on immature, I have to say. But this is a very childish album. Like, take a track like Liar, which interprets a like childish song where you go like liar, liar, pants on fire. Yeah, I didn't really feel that, this is kind of like the worst interpretation of a childhood song since Eminem's Offended, that, Eminem's album, stuff like that. And when I say that Boosie is being childish on this album, I'm not saying that he necessarily connects to like children of today or the youth, because in a song like I Testify, he explains that children are fat because moms are giving them iPods. Like, who uses an iPod? Usually people I know use like their phone to like listen to music. Everything that an iPod can do, a phone can do. And he's like a few years late when it comes to the whole iPod reference. And I don't really get it. I mean, even if you had an iPod, you can run while playing your iPod. So you could still work out and still use your iPod. So that was a very stupid reference on his part, Boosie. But I don't expect him to be like a genius when it comes to health, because this guy all throughout the album says that he has cancer and diabetes, to a point where even Little Boosie on the song Simi on Me, he says that he pees blood, which was totally outright disgusting. I did not need to know that. And he says that his enemies like put a hex on him. Like, whoa, that was pretty gross, ooh. And this song even referenced a child, Trayvon Martin. But I think that Little Boosie was confused, because I think he may think that a white woman shot Trayvon Martin. Like, he uses the word, like, bitch or whatever. But in the context that he used it in the whole like song, I think he thinks that a white woman shot Trayvon Martin, not George Zimmerman, a male. That was a pretty odd like That was a pretty odd thing that happened in like the album. And take a song like Get Your Mind Right, where he explains to a woman that he says that you're a bitch, like, brr, and then he just stops. He doesn't like finish it. I don't know if he censored himself or that was just cut out, but there's like this huge pause after Get Your Mind Right, which is a little strange. And another thing I find a little strange is on the song You Don't Know Me Like That, he says that people are judging his preferences by his baby mamas. I mean, of course, unless you're just like raw dogging it on any chick or you just have no standards, your baby mama must have been like hot to you. That's a little odd to me that he would make that reference. But, you know, there are mature parts on this album, like on the song Cocaine Fever. He really explains in detail how cocaine turned into crack and stuff like that. And on the song Webster, Webbie I Remember, which was like his dear departed friend. He talks about how he had good times with Webbie, and I thought that that was a very touching moment in the whole album. And on the song Everything, he explains that how his brother got shot, his brother Buster, which I thought that was pretty cool also. And on a song like My Pain Runs Deep, he talks about how there's multiple murders in his neighborhood and how it frustrates him. You know, I thought that was pretty cool also. And on a song like Heartless Heart, he kind of talks about heartbreak or whatever. But one of the things I noticed is he referenced left hands like he's Quavo. All throughout the song, he keeps on referencing his left hand, which is kind of funny because Quavo did it on his last album. And speaking of Quavo, he kind of reminded me about Travis Scott on the song You Don't Know Me Like That, where he says that he has no problems with gays, which was a little bit odd because I'm wondering, did he ever have this like huge controversy where he said something like he said like faggot or whatever like Travis Scott did, and he had to apologize multiple times and say that he didn't mean faggot to mean gay or whatever. That's a little odd that he would even say that. And when it comes to dating preferences, he made a very strange reference on the song Getting Me Out of Here. He says that he's proud of Tom for dating a white chick. Like he says that he's married a white girl and he's proud of him. I thought that was a little odd. You know, Tom marrying a white chick and you're proud of that. I mean, nothing's wrong with that. I'm just saying that's a little odd to put on a song. And on a song like Trust No One, I mean, he tells us to trust no one, but he only gives like one example of a person that betrayed him, which was Pookie. You know, his friend Pookie, he betrayed him. But other than that, he's saying that he doesn't trust his mama, which is a little strange because on songs like Motherless Child and Me and My Mama, he shows very much big respect to his mother. So I don't know why he would not trust his own mother. That's a little odd. But maybe it's best that nobody his friend, because on a song like The Wrong Role Models, he says that half of his shooters are dead, which means that he has either he has strong enemies or weak shooters, because if half of your shooters are dead, and I'm skeptical it's because of natural causes, that's a little odd indeed. And the only person he really features on here is like Young Blue, which he spells his name Blue like the French does, so that's a little odd. But Young Blue on a song like Let Me Know, he sounds like a discount Young Thug. And on a song like Semi on Me, he sounds like he took the Amigos flow. And what makes it even worse is he used the term like takeoff, like putting extra emphasis on takeoff. I thought that was a little odd. And on a song like Different Cloth, he referenced how he got his 14-year-old son laid, which is a little odd. There was this huge controversy where it seems like he paid somebody to get his 14-year-old son laid, or maybe he just suggested that his son gets laid. But that was a controversy way back. And speaking of children, on a song like Me, Myself, and I, he sounds like a little child who just got his first independence, who just got the feel of independence, like his first taste of independence after moving out his mother's house. Like, it's a very odd song. And speaking of children, I think he has like a child mentality, because on the song like I'm That Nigga, he says that somebody wanted to kill him, but he looked into his like page and he only has like a few followers, so he's not really scared, which is a little odd, because if somebody wanted to kill you and they have like little followers, then they have really nothing to lose and they're going to do it anyway. So yeah, that's a little strange that he would put that in there. And on a song like I Hope You Make It, I thought it was going to be a track about how he's surviving cancer and surviving diabetes and surviving street life. But no, at most he talks about like this woman who had a facial injury after she got into a car wreck. That's pretty much all. And on a song like God Wants Me to Ball, he talks about, well, he mostly just talks about his childhood in the verses, which was okay. But yeah, I'm just going to stop it right here. This album was way too damn long. It was monotonous. It pretty much, I mean, Boosie is not like an interesting character like that. He doesn't have an interesting flow. He's kind of dull. He's very boring. So I'm just gonna give this album like a 1. Another 1. Please like, subscribe, share the video, and I'm out, guys. This was a horrible album. Sorry to the fans.